Inside Marquette Basketball with Buzz Williams is brought to you in part by AirTran Airways. For low fares to over 50 cities, book at airtran.com. Don't give up the sport, give up the pain. Talk to the Aurora Sports Medicine Institute. And by U.S. Bank, a proud sponsor of Marquette Athletics. All of us serving you.
Welcome to Inside Marquette Basketball with Buzz Williams. I'm Dennis Krause. A great way to start 2011 and the Big East season with an impressive win over West Virginia on New Year's Day. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're grateful that it started the way that it did. Coach Huggins is one of the best coaches in the country, in my opinion. Will be a first vote inductee into the Hall of Fame, and that was I thought our toughness was evident from start to finish in the game against West Virginia.
Part of the toughness began with a 5:30 a.m. shoot-around. Are you insane?
No, I think that played into it. As I told our guys on Friday night, the team that wakes up the best will be the team that plays the best. Doesn't mean that you'll win, just means that you'll play great. And because of what we do throughout the year, practicing at 5:30 in the morning is not a complete shock to us. And I thought our guys were great in the preparation leading up to the game. Great Saturday morning. I thought that from start to finish it was the best game we had played.
And it paid off in the sense that you jumped off to the 9-0 lead right away.
Well, we played to the scouting report outstanding, particularly at the beginning of the game. 5 of their first 6 possessions were turnovers. And then even throughout the game, I thought that we played to the scouting report. It's not going to be a blowout. There's not going to be a blowout at home or on the road in the Big East. But to be able to start out 9-0 definitely helps.
Jay Crowder, you have talked on this show about how important he was going to be this season, and it already has shown. Career high, 29 points.
Yeah, I don't know that he'll score 29, but as I've said before, and I appreciate you saying that, I think he'll end up being the heart and soul of our team because his instincts are so good as a person that it's infectious amongst our team, and he's done a great job in a difficult situation. He wasn't here at all this summer. So from the very first day he got here, I was coaching, and that's not always healthy because of the shock value involved. He wasn't here in the summer to spend time with our guys, to lift with Ty, to spend time with Ernest. You just got here and it's time to go to work. And he's done an outstanding job, better than any junior college player I've seen, of having relationships with every single player and then understanding the vibe and the flow with the returning guys and the new guys, and somewhat being a conduit to both. And through that, he's become a great leader within our team.
12 of 14 from the field, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and a block for Jay Crowder. Also a very productive game for Darius Johnson-Odom, 21 points for you.
Dwight Bikes is playing really, really well. That helps Darius Johnson-Odom. When being able to play Chris more than he's played definitely helps Jay, but because it helps Jay, it helps Jimmy. And so all our parts are somewhat intertwined because of how we play. DJ's been in a really good rhythm in his work since the week of finals. He has the ability to do what he did on Saturday and kind of get on a run almost by himself, but because he forces so much help, it helps those other guys. When Chris is a factor and Chris is drawing help, obviously that leaves it one-on-one with Jimmy and Jay, and I think they're pretty good players in that kind of matchup.
On the telecast, they were talking about Jimmy Butler not even a shot in the first half, but as things played out, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, big free throws, he still helps you win that game.
I think he was the key. He shot 0 shots in the first half and 4 in the second half. Will that ever happen again? I don't know. But I think his contributions to our team on both ends of the floor, Jay's going to get the notoriety, DJ's going to get the notoriety, but if Jimmy wouldn't have been what Jimmy was every possession, we wouldn't have won that game.
Our AirTran key stat of the week shows your incredible shooting from the floor in the second half against West Virginia, especially at the start of the second half, and impressive numbers there if you look at the graphic. But I want to go to the end of the game because you talked about Chris Otule. Impressive follow slam. He came out of nowhere to put you up by 1 late.
That possession that Dwight shot that ball that Chris rebounded, they were in a box and one on DJ. Never has it happened in Coach Huggins' career. So Chris, he's playing with a level of confidence that he's never had. And I don't know that he's an all-conference player, but I think he's beginning to work like he's going to be that someday. And just his size, it changes our team. It changes our team offensively, changes our team defensively. And, 2 years ago, Chris wouldn't have even known that Dwight shot the ball. You know what I mean? And now he noticed that he shot it, and he grabbed it, and he dunked it, and he was kind of holding on the rim like somebody was under him for a little extra. But he's coming, and I'm really pleased with his mentality, and I think that's why he's changing.
One other play I wanted to spotlight in this 79-74 victory, and that was Jay's big steal. We talked a lot about the points, but that steal was huge.
Well, that was a scouting report play. And when we went over it, Dennis, it was so rarely used in the previous 11 games for West Virginia. They had ran it a total of 4 times. And it was the last thing that we went over Saturday morning at 6:38. And we didn't even guard at full speed. I just said, guys, here's one more thing that I want to show you. This. And it was that play when Jay ran through it and stole it.
Well, it's fun when you see your work pay off on the floor like that.
Sure it is.
Let's go back briefly to Wednesday night in Nashville, non-conference 77-76 loss to Vanderbilt. A lot of good things in this game, too, despite the setback. Strong 20-7 run at the end of the first half turned a 10-point deficit into a 3-point lead. No Tule was part of that, too.
Chris played. That was the best Division I game Chris had ever played. He was excited to play. He was excited to be back as a starter. He felt like he had earned the right to start. He knew that we had been going on and on as a staff about their big guy. But Chris played great. I thought we did get beat. They've lost 8 times there in non-conference in the last 12 years. It's a unique place to play. They're definitely a top 20 team. I think, not being a fortune teller, but I think time will prove that over the course of the SEC race. Really, really skilled, can really, really score. And I thought that our competitiveness, our toughness was outstanding. I think that the thing that hurts us is we're top 10 in the country in scoring. We're top 10 in the country in field goal percentage. We can score baskets. When it turns into a scoring contest, though, particularly on the road, we're probably not going to have the success we want to have. And at Vanderbilt in the second half, they went 7 of 8 possessions and scored every single time. And we talk about it in practice, and we talk about it in a game. How many turkeys can we get? How many 3 stops in a row can we get? And we got 2 against Vanderbilt on the road, and you can't do that and win. And in the second half, they went on a 21-6 run. That was when they scored 7 out of 8. We have to have some stops intertwined in there, because if it turns into a scoring contest, we're going to score. We're however many 82 points a game we're averaging. We can score enough points to win. Can we finish enough possessions defensively with a rebound and a stop? Because if we can, then we'll have a chance.
Real quickly, want to touch on 3 key plays at the end. Dwight's shot, which the foot on the line ended up being a 2. Then Vanderbilt's go-ahead basket, and then DJO tripping the last sequence.
It was an ATO side out of bounds. The play was for DJ. Very unselfish play. Drew help just like he did against UConn last year. Pitched it to Dwight. Because of my angle, I was curious if it was a 3. You can't tell from the perspective that you're looking at. Last offensive possession for Vanderbilt, Jay Crowder was completely lost. He was ball watching. He closed out on a guy that was Dwight's guy and left his guy wide open. Chris was late on the help. It would have been even better if Chris would have just fouled the guy and made him shoot 2. But again, that all happens within 3.5 seconds. Bottom line, Jay was lost. Last possession of the game, they called timeout after Walker scored. I called the next timeout because I wanted to see if they had a guy on the ball or not. They didn't. 4 seconds to play, that's a long time. I was telling our guys we're going to drive it. They won't foul. Bottom line, we didn't get a shot. DJ turned it over. Did he slip and fall? Was he tripped by Vander? Was he tripped by Odom? I don't know. Was he fouled? We didn't get a shot off, and you got to get a shot off, and we didn't. I still like the play that we ran. You just want to give yourself a chance at a shot.
In our next segment, Joe Fulce is going to be in studio. Your relationship with him is special.
Unbelievable, unlike any that I've ever known. And it's a unique deal because all of our players know that too. And it's not just this year's players, it's been every year's players. I coach him harder than anybody else on our team. I've known him since he was a freshman. He's the only player that I've ever known that signed a national letter of intent at 3 different institutions. And it's been the last 3 Division I institutions that I've been employed at. Really close with his parents. I love what he's about. I think he's going to be a star, but he's going to finish his degree here no matter how long it takes. And he's going to be the next Jamie McNeely. It'll be hard for somebody to take him away from me.
We'll hear from Joe Fulce next on Inside Marquette Basketball with Buzz Williams. This is the U.S. Bank Up Close segment here in studio with Joe Fulce of the Golden Eagles. Thanks for coming in.
No problem. Thank you.
Now, earlier in the season, the non-conference portion of the schedule, you went down with a knee injury. You've had some knee injuries in the past. How is the knee coming along, and I guess how relieved are you that you're back on the floor?
The knee, it's going a lot better. It was bothering me a lot in the beginning of the season, you know, just from just overworking and as much as the workouts as we've been doing and the pounding that I've been doing from jumping on it and stuff, and it finally just kind of one of those things that caught up on me. I had a surgery in 2006, my high school year, exactly at the same time that I did this past year, and it was I was supposed to have the doctor they thought that I would have had at least 4 to 5 more scopes between 06 and now, and I've only had that one. And it was just a bunch of wear and tear that was going on, and definitely it was something that I had to just kind of just sit down with and just rest it.
You must really want to play.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're probably in pain all the time.
Yeah. It's just something that I just have to play through, and it's just one of those things where, you know, I don't like not being able to help out my teammates. They always tell you that there's different ways that you can help your teammates other than just playing, but with it being my senior year, I have to be there for my teammates.
You grew up in Texas, and you have a long and close relationship with Coach Buzz Williams. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, he's like my second dad. You know, he's just always been there for me. A great father figure. He talks to me as if he talks to his family, you know, and to his son. And he's really helped me a lot, helping me grow into the person that I am today. You know, and that's something that I genuinely appreciate.
You've shared a lot of the journey with Jimmy Butler, both at Tyler Junior College and now here at Marquette. Right. Does that bond make you closer, having been through all that?
Of course. You know, me and Jimmy are like he's like a brother to me. You know, and the way he works and the way I've seen him grow up since we've gotten here, it's just amazing. You know, and we never would have thought that we went to the same school and it played out the way that it did. But, you know, just by the grace of God, you know, it's happened, and, you know, that's a good thing. You're
going to have a future in the entertainment industry, right? You're interested in the music side of things and in producing, and you already got a little studio going? Yeah, it's going good right now. You know, I haven't had as much time to really focus on it, but hopefully, you know, something will be able to happen where I'll be able to you know, get my feet wet a little bit, and, you know, I still keep in contact with Danny Pooty and stuff, and we have recently did some stuff together for the school and talked to a few people, and, you know, right now I'm just really trying to concentrate on basketball and everything and finish out the season before, you know, I really try and stick my feet in anything else. That's a good answer on the coach's show, that's for sure. Stay focused on one thing at a time. Now, looks can be deceiving because at first blush you seem like a very serious guy. But in the inner circle of Marquette basketball, you're not known that way. You're known as kind of the clown, impressions and all that. Is that something you've always enjoyed doing?
I mean, that's just me. That's just always been me. I've always been that type of person where I know the difference between knowing to be serious and knowing to have fun.
Faster, 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 faster.
Faster, Pat. Faster, Pat.
Keep going. Nope. Scooby, start over.
And usually when I have fun, you know, it stays in people's minds, or it's just something about it that keeps them intact in anything that I'm saying or doing. So.
Final question. This one is a serious question too. Your remaining time at Marquette, both in the classroom and on the basketball court.
Right.
What do you want to accomplish, and what kind of legacy do you want to leave at Marquette?
And there's nothing more exciting than watching Joe Fulce in the open court, an explosive leaper.
On the floor, honestly, I just, with my teammates, I want to be the best teammate as possible. And I want to help, just like anybody else that, you know, their senior year that are playing in this type of league. You know, I want to get a ring, you know, and that's just something that we all fight for every single day, and we compete for it every day. So I just want to work as hard as I can and help my teammates work as hard as they can as possible, and you know, we'll see what happens from there. Academically, I just want to get my degree. That's just it. You know, I came to school to get a degree, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Joe Fulce, thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the season.
Appreciate it.
And we'll be back with the coach after this on Inside Marquette Basketball with Buzz Williams. And back with the coach. As hard as you practice, a training staff, I have to think, is so critical.
Maybe the most critical hire. I think the strength coach, the trainer, and the administrative assistant have the three hardest jobs because they're involved on a daily basis. Ernest can be around our guys 365 days out of the year. There's only one other person in our program that can do that, and that's Todd Smith, our strength coach. Ernest is the best in the country. I don't even think it's close.
Ernest Eugene and the training staff in the Aurora Sports Medicine Institute All Access segment.
Ernest Eugene, along with his staff of student trainers, is responsible for managing the basketball team's injury prevention and dealing with any injury issues that may occur.
We have sessions that we call IP, which stands for injury prevention, and what we do is we require every guy to come in 2 to 3 to 4 times a week, depending on their schedule, depending on what their needs may be, and we're working on things for 15 or 20 minutes, just fine-tuning a couple things. If someone has tight hamstrings, if someone has tight hip flexors, if someone experiences a lot of lower back pain, we start to attack those things every day.
If an injury happens, it's up to Eugene and his staff to get that player back into game shape. Along the way, Eugene plays the role of teacher as well. With 4 student trainers helping him, the training he provides is invaluable to them. At the same time, the service they provide the team is a necessity.
I tell them every day that they don't understand how important they are to us, because I think without them being here, it makes it tough for us to do what we need to do, because I can't stretch Dwight, and I can't do ankle mobs on Joe, or I can't tape Jimmy. I can't do all that at one time when everybody has 5 or 10 minutes to do all these things, so they're so important. And that's one of the glorious things about my job, is the opportunity to teach these people.
During timeouts, Eugene is in constant motion around the huddle, checking for signs of injury. The adjustments and treatments he gives can often be the difference in keeping a player in the game. When more serious injuries occur, Eugene and his staff are the first into action.
If an injury occurs, we have our physicians that are there. We have our athletic training students that also come in with the physicians. We evaluate, we do whatever needs to be done. For instance, when we had Joe was injured, we obviously transported him over to the ER. I got everything done that we could, and I wasn't there, but a representative of our staff was there, so we were getting everything done. So we like to move quickly on things.
Along with the medical doctors on staff, it's the trainer's responsibility to determine a course of action quickly.
As soon as we see the injury occur, I already have in my mind an idea as I'm running out to the court what we're looking at. We go out and we do what we call our on-field assessment, on-court assessment for basketball. So we go out and we assess everything. We just make sure nothing's broken immediately, that he wouldn't be able to stand on his legs. Nothing is torn or anything like that. And there's a certain test that we do. I call them my go-to test, because I know if I'm looking at a knee injury, for instance, with Joe, I'm going to do my go-to test right there, right away, to rule out the things catastrophic things that we're worried about. Now, if we notice it's not catastrophic, we're not going to do our full eval out there. But now at that point, we're going to take them to the court side, and now we have the luxury of coming into the locker room and having them assessed by our physicians, by myself, whomever it may be.
After a game, the staff takes time to review any nagging injuries with the players. to help ensure there aren't any surprises in the days ahead. It's the culmination of a process meant to keep the Golden Eagles performing at their peak.
Coach, I think sometimes fans don't understand it's not just about a trainer going out on the floor when somebody gets hurt. So much of it is injury prevention before the fact.
We give our guys a calendar every Sunday night at Life Lessons. The calendar goes from Monday morning at 6 a.m. through Monday night at 11 p.m., every hour on the hour up until Sunday night at 6 the following week when we have Life Lessons again. Each of our guys spend on their calendar, have 30 minutes a day of IP, injury prevention. Not if they're hurt, not they've been hurt, every single player, injury prevention. And that's what I think is the separation and what Ernest does with our guys that makes him the best is he's always thinking the next play, he's always thinking the next thing that he can do to stay on top of our guys from a health perspective. And I think that's what is the difference.
Busy week in the Big East for the Golden Eagles. We'll talk about it next. Stay with us. Back on Inside Marquette Basketball with Buzz Williams. Up ahead this week, 2 games on Sports 32, Wednesday night at Rutgers, Saturday afternoon at Pittsburgh. One at a time, obviously. Let's start with Rutgers. They've made some strides in that program recently.
I think their new coach has done an outstanding job. I think Fred Hill left them some really good players, maybe not as many players as Coach Rice would want, but I think Coach Rice has done a great job making sure that they play hard, that they play tough. They beat Miami, who's a really good team, and they beat them from start to finish. And I thought that they played really well against Villanova yesterday. Foul trouble really changed the game for them, but we'll have our hands full, and they'll be excited to play their first Big East game at home.
When there's a coaching change like that, do you even look at last year's tape, or is it irrelevant because it's a different style?
Yeah, I look at Robert Morris tape
right.
for Coach Rice. They're running, in essence, the same things that he ran at Robert Morris. But you know, I'm familiar with their personnel. Some of the guys that are playing for them, though, Dennis, are new guys.
Saturday at Pittsburgh, nobody has to hype up what Jamie Dixon has done at Pittsburgh. It's always a physical affair when it's Pittsburgh against Marquette.
Well, he set the standard for coaches in my generation of how to run a program, how to recruit, how to run a program. They've been outstanding. And playing at their place, I remember in year number 1, we played at their place and we were up 1 at the second media timeout of the second half, and then we ended up getting beat 15 or 16. And they just beat us, just absolutely mauled us inside. And they're running the same plays that they've always ran, but they play with the same mentality that they've always played with.
And also, before our next show next Monday night, a national TV, Bradley Center against Notre Dame. Doesn't get much better than that.
Well, it's a quick turn. This is a really important week, just like every coach would say. This is a really important week. We got to make sure that we're accountable from start to finish. But as soon as we get home from Pitt Saturday night at 10, I don't know what time we play a week from today, but Monday night at 7 or Monday night at
6
8.
o'clock.
6 o'clock. It's even so. It's a quick turn. It's a quick turn.
Sorry,
so,
it's even quicker than you thought.
3 games in the next 7 days. That's exactly right. So it's a big week for us.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
That's Inside Marquette Basketball with Buzz Williams. See you next week.
Inside Marquette Basketball with Buzz Williams was brought to you in part by the Aurora Sports Medicine Institute, the exclusive sports medicine provider to Marquette University Athletics. U.S. Bank, a proud sponsor of Marquette Athletics. All of us serving you. And by Air Trent Airways. Go. There's nothing stopping you.